In this video, I'm going to show you how I made this print. This video is about achieving depth and texture in your collagraphs. Texture through applying collage papers onto your plate, and I'm going to show you what is my favorite material to use collage papers with. And also achieving depth with monoprinting on top of your already printed collagraph print. Hope you enjoy the video. So I'm going to start off with creating collage papers for this collagraph, and it's done on this label paper. It's basically a label paper and using a bit of matte media here. It's a label paper for laser printer, and you can get it on Amazon. I will include this in my description, the link to where you can buy it. Now I'm moving on to gesso. So basically I'm just creating different textures. Matte media will create different texture from gesso, and it will probably create sort of mid-value tone. And this micaceous iron oxide is almost a bit like carborundum in printmaking, because it's really gritty. It will create very dark tonal value. And I'm using a label paper because it's sticky and because I don't need to use a glue. This is a mixture of matte medium and micaceous iron oxide, and it's sort of, I've got two different tones here. So this is my design here on a Enviromount. Again, I've got a link in my description if you want to buy it. I'm just sort of adding dark value tones. I'm just using a brush and micaceous iron oxide, and it's got a sort of painterly feel to it. And as you can see, I've divided my print into shapes using a tracing paper, and I'm getting my shape sort of drawn out using tracing paper. And really I'm just adding these shapes because I want lots of different textures going on in my print, and these shapes will add me sort of interest into my composition, if you like. And you will see, once I print it, you will see these textures and how they come out. And also they will create lines that I want to have in my composition as well. So the trees in the background and the horizon will have very dark value, and these sort of shapes I'm creating now will have sort of mid value, mid tonal range value. It would be good to see if I did it sort of black and white print. It's going to be color print, but you will see what I mean. So at the moment I'm just laying down these collage papers, and this is the darkest one of all of them. That will create very dark, that will trap a lot of ink. So I'm just cutting out the shape here, and I'm hoping to get some really lovely brush strokes as well, as you can see, going sort of vertically in this shape. So I'm just here adding my trees back onto the shape that I glued on, just to complete the composition, but also having this interesting sort of shape in the middle, and adding a bit more here on the right hand side in that shape. I'm using a grinding tool here with a little pointy needle attached to, because I want to have quite sort of, it will almost look like drawn out marks. It's my bark and branches of the tree. They will look like lines when I ink up and wipe the ink off. This I have not filmed creating this, but it's basically a sticky sheet of silver sheet that I got in B&Q, and that will create a very light value that will wipe the ink off, bar the obviously branches that are drawn on it. And that's because I'm going to put a chine collé paper on top, so I wanted to have a very light tonal value, so I don't get any ink there, because I want these trees to be bright yellow. I'm going to treat them differently. The one on the left, which will print on the right, of course, will we'll just hopefully get lovely sort of those tree trunks, and I will put the yellow chine collé on top, and the one on the right should print quite light as well. So here I've got, this is rice paper chine collé that I dipped with some yellow ink, acrylic ink, and I've cut out the shapes to get them ready. Now I'm going to ink up the plate, and it's a mixture of sort of yellow and black and also some white aqua inks. So I'm going to get the right sort of green I'd like to have for this, for the trees in the background. So I'm kind of applying with just a scrim, because I want this to be quite a dark green value, and I know that this Mikashi iron oxide paint will trap the ink really nicely after I wipe it off. As you can see already, and I'm also doing a patch sort of in front as well. This is amber, so I'm just adding a different color. I'm applying ink in à la papier technique, which I apply different colors in different parts of the plate, and I will just wipe them off. They will blend together a little bit more later on as well. Like you can see, I'm applying this, I've mixed yellow with white to give me this very bright, intense yellow color. And then sort of a cooler green here at the front. So you should be able to see already that I have some really interesting textures from those painted on marks. These trees and this sort of shape of crisscross I have in the middle, that should also give me a really interesting texture. I've also got some lines in the midfield as well, that I'm hoping to get sort of like a almost like sun rays, a field, a feel of the middle part of the plate. So I've now inked it up, and I'm wiping the ink off. I've got some really lovely sky texture there. I can see already I've got some lighter and darker tones, and those trees look quite nice as well. So I'm getting some really good shapes there and some really good tonal values with darker textures, collage papers as well. And those two trees on both sides, bush and a tree, are very light, so they should give me a really lovely base for a chine collé paper on top. So as you start wiping the ink off, you start seeing your plate. So the way I do a chine collé, I wet the rice paper first, and I'm going to use some archival quality starch, wheat starch. Again, I use a sort of cocoa shaker to get it evenly. Again, I will put the link to in my description to where you can buy or what sort of substance it is. And you of course put the glue side up on the plate because you want it to glue to the paper, and you want the lovely texture of the plate to come through on top. A bit of newsprint paper on top, obviously going through the press, going in twice for good measure, and also to be able to film as well. And the reveal, I am sorry it's upside down. You will see it the right way up, of course. So yeah, you can already see we've got some sort of monoprinting textures that I've wiped off a little bit more. Then you can see those textures from collage paper. It's quite painterly feel on top of those trees. Quite pleased with it, but also I feel like not enough is going on perhaps. I need to add something else to it, but so far, yeah, I like the feel of the plate, because it has a combination of that chine collé intensity of that yellow came out really nicely. Actually, that would be quite difficult to achieve with just ink unless I did a relief print on top. but I kind of like how the chine collé paper came out. So I'm using Durala sheet here, which again I will add a link to in my description of the video. And I'm using it because I want to add some monoprinting on top, and to get it in the correct place, I using this Durala because it's see-through, and I can roll the ink on top on my shapes, and then I will be able to place it on top of my print in the correct position where I want to add some monoprint ink on top. So it's a really nice way. I'm just wiping it with a baby wipe here. It's really good material to work with. Again, I will put a link in the description to where you can buy Durala. And as you will see here, I'm placing it back on my on the bed, on the press bed. The paper is still a little bit damp, which is really useful, of course, in transferring the image from Durala. If it dries up, you can always spray it with some water on the back. So as you can see, I'm just peeling off Durala from the top. I've got a nice additional value, tonal value I wanted to add. And here I'm adding, sorry about the shaky camera, I've just knocked it with my head. I'm just adding a little bit more shade here at the bottom. I felt like it needed it. So you can just keep adding to the plate if you feel it needs other colors or needs something else. So as you can see, I'm adding a little bit more of an intense foreground. I felt it could do with more of intense foreground. So you can really carry on adding to the plate and playing with it after you've printed it, which is, I love that way of working. You can be, you know, more and more, you can be spontaneous and you can add more to it and change things up. And I've done quite a few prints, as you will see. I will show you in a minute. This one here coming up now is got sort of less colors. It's just got more muted colors. It's just nice to be able to have different variations of the plate with different values. And I think this one is my favorite, actually. I like this one the most. That was my last one. I think I did 4 in the end. But yeah, I really rather like the trees in the background and that field. It sort of draws you into that focal point at the top. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video useful, and I hope it will inspire you with some printmaking. If you have any questions about this video, please make a comment and I will reply to you and hopefully answer your questions. If you like and subscribe, then I can carry on making more videos and hopefully entertain you with some more ideas. Thank you.